Nobody at Hargrove Animal Rescue could get near Atlas. Not the staff, not the volunteers, not the veterinarian with 19 years of experience. For 6 months, he sat in the back corner of Kennel 4 and let nobody close. 3 weeks before his transfer deadline, a 34-year-old single mother walked in with her 4-year-old daughter. The daughter went left instead of right, and 4 minutes later, everything changed. Nobody at Hargrove Animal Rescue could explain why Atlas wouldn't let anyone near him. Not the volunteers, not the staff, not the veterinarian who'd been working with large breeds for 19 years. They had tried everything: slow approaches, treats on the floor, sitting at a distance. Nothing worked. Atlas would press himself into the back corner of Kennel 4 and stay there, perfectly still, watching with amber eyes that gave nothing away. He wasn't aggressive. That was the confusing part. He didn't growl, he didn't snap, he simply refused. Every attempt ended the same way: Atlas in the corner, the volunteer at the door, and a silence nobody knew how to cross. He had been at the shelter for 6 months. Before that, a farm outside of Knoxville where he had lived for 3 years with an elderly couple. The husband passed away in January, the wife moved to assisted living in March, the farm sold in April. Atlas arrived at Hargrove in May with a file that said "good with people" and a reality that said something had broken. The shelter director, Patricia, had a rule: dogs that showed no improvement in 6 months went on the transfer list. Not euthanasia, a different facility, a fresh start. But it meant Atlas had 3 weeks left at Hargrove when Rachel Summers walked in with her daughter. Rachel was 34, recently relocated to Knoxville for work. Her daughter Nora had asked to come. Nora was 4 years old and had been asking for a dog since she was 2, with the patient persistence of someone who understood that repetition was a strategy. They were supposed to look at the smaller dogs, the ones that made sense for a single mother in a rental house with a small yard. Nora went left instead of right. Rachel noticed it 3 seconds too late. By the time she turned around, Nora was already at the end of the hallway, already standing in front of Kennel 4, already looking through the gate at the 160lb Boerboel in the back corner. Rachel got there in 8 seconds. She would count them later. Atlas was in his corner. Nora was at the gate. Neither of them was moving. Rachel put her hand on Nora's shoulder. "We should look at the other dogs," she said. Nora didn't turn around. "He's sad," she said. Rachel looked at Atlas. Atlas looked at Rachel. "He doesn't like people coming close," a volunteer said from the doorway. "He's been here 6 months. We've tried everything." Nora sat down on the floor, not in front of the gate, beside it, against the wall, her back to the kennel, her legs straight out in front of her, looking at nothing in particular, the way a child sits when they have decided to wait and have no opinion about how long that takes. The volunteers started to say something. Rachel put her hand up. They waited. 4 minutes passed. Then she heard a sound from inside the kennel, paws on concrete. She didn't look. Nora didn't look. They both stayed exactly where they were. The sound stopped at the gate. Nora turned her head slowly. Atlas was standing at the front of the kennel, his enormous head level with the gate, looking at the small person sitting against the wall. He made a sound that wasn't quite a whimper. Then he lay down on his side of the gate, his body parallel to Nora's, his head 3 inches from the bars. The volunteer in the doorway didn't say anything for a long moment. "In 6 months," she said finally, "he has never done that." If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, that genuinely stings a little. Hit that button. You'll want to see what comes next. Rachel filled out the paperwork that afternoon. Patricia approved the adoption in 11 minutes. She told Rachel the truth on the way out. "He has 3 weeks left on his placement window. You came on the right Saturday." The first week at home was quiet in a way Rachel hadn't expected. Atlas moved through the house slowly, investigating each room with the careful attention of someone who had learned not to assume anything was permanent. He chose a spot in the hallway between Nora's room and Rachel's, not in either room, between them. Rachel stepped over him twice the first night before she understood it wasn't accidental. Nora had her own approach. She did not rush Atlas. Each morning, she would sit on the kitchen floor while Rachel made breakfast and simply exist near him, unhurried, patient, taking up space without demanding anything. Atlas watched her. Then, one morning, 4 days in, he walked to where Nora was sitting and lay down beside her. Nora put her hand on his back. Atlas closed his eyes. That was how it started. Boerboels were bred over centuries in South Africa to protect farms and the families on them. When a Boerboel decides someone is safe, that decision comes from somewhere deeper than training. It comes from assessment, from time, from something the dog understands about a person that the person may not yet understand about themselves. Atlas had spent 6 months finding nobody safe. Then a 4-year-old sat down beside his gate and waited without asking for anything. He understood that immediately. By week 3, Atlas had developed a routine Rachel had not designed. Every morning he walked Nora to the bus stop 40 feet from their front door and sat at the end of the driveway until the bus was out of sight. Every afternoon, he was at the window 11 minutes before the bus came back. Rachel had not told him the schedule. He had figured it out himself. He also had opinions about strangers, not aggressive ones, positional ones. When someone came to the door, Atlas would move to stand between the door and Nora before Rachel had finished opening it. No sound, no display, just presence. 160 pounds of it, arranged between the small person and whatever was outside. Rachel's neighbor June had initially called Atlas intimidating. In February, she knocked on their door to ask if he could walk with her granddaughter to the mailbox. The granddaughter had been nervous about the street since a car came too close the previous fall. Atlas walked her to the mailbox and back, staying between her and the road the entire way. June stopped calling him intimidating after that. Patricia from Hargrove called Rachel in March to check in. Rachel told her about the bus stop routine, the door positioning, June's granddaughter. There was a pause on the line. "He was never broken," Patricia said. "He was just waiting for the right person to sit down and wait, without asking for anything in return." Was Atlas broken, or was he just waiting for someone patient enough to find out? Tell me in the comments.